Good morning. Welcome back to Financial Issues. My name's Dan Celia. It's great to be here on a very cold. It's 2 degrees here, or at least where I am. It is 2 degrees. We're supposed to get hammered with about 12 to 15 inches of snow here outside of Philadelphia. I'm so tired of it. I'm just tired of it. Anyway, we've had over 40 inches or over 45 inches of snow. It's very unusual for us, by the way. So if you live in the South and you think, well, that's the Northeast. No. That is really unusual for us. I mean, we get the occasional 8 inches and maybe twice a year. We may get a 10-inch snow, but we haven't had any real snow in 2 years. So this is really a killer. But anyway, no fun. Everything's shut down. Thankfully, Washington, D.C. is shut down, I think, so they can't do too much damage. I'll talk a little bit about the damage they've already done or the damage they continue to do, if you can call that. I'm in a camp by myself on this, but I'll talk about it anyway. Yesterday, we saw equities finish much higher. It's the fourth consecutive day. By the way, the Dow was up 192, I'm sorry. Dow was up 192 yesterday. Equities finished much higher, primarily due to Fed Chair Janet Yellen in her first congressional monetary policy testimony. And she gave basically a boost to the markets after indicating that there was going to be a continuation of current policy, that she indicated she didn't see any real change. Very interesting. Her husband, who's a Nobel laureate, her husband and her wrote a paper on the economy and on deflation, inflation, and recessions and depression back in 2005. Well, I read the paper this morning. It really kind of messed me up because it took me a while to just read it, get through it, and try to check it, look at some of the references that I felt like I had to look at, so I understood where they were coming from. Anyway, I read this paper, and really it's very different than the attitude the Fed is taking right now. So I'm wondering if she no longer believes in some of the things that she and her husband wrote back in 2005, or she is just going to continue policy as usual. I'll talk about that a little bit later. By the way, our phone lines are open, 866-300-9298. Domestic small business optimism rose again slightly. It is still well below the 100, and it's stagnant. No real big deal. It's at 94.1. It was revised up from 93.9. I talked a little bit about it yesterday. I didn't have the exact number because I was going, and I think I was wrong. I forget what I said, but I don't think I was right in it because I didn't have it in front of me. But anyway, optimism. So the index is basically, for lack of better, treading water. It is doing nothing. It is just hanging there. Small business optimism is still very low. Basically, they're surviving. They're getting by. They're going to continue to get by. There's no expectations for any real growth in the economy. No expectations in any real growth in their jobs. No expectations, by the way, for hiring, especially full-time workers. So that doesn't look like it's going to happen. I understand the extensions or the law-breaking extensions that the president continues to give, but the fact of the matter is you cannot keep waiting and going right up to the 11th hour on hiring. I mean, so even though they say, well, there's been an extension, I'm good for a year. So they're not going to go drive their business up in 1 year only to pull it back. I know the politicians can't think like that. Well, we gave you a 1 year extension. That should really boost the economy because you should be out there hiring right now. You got a whole year. Doesn't work that way. Of course, these are guys that have never made a payroll a day in their life, have no idea how to run a business for the majority of them anyway. They are in the greatest job in the world, and they're scared to death of losing it, and because they don't want to have to go back into the real world. Anyway, oil prices came down a little bit, but they're up right now. I believe crude is above $100 a barrel right now, and it is. Yeah, it's It's 164 right now. It was 155 a little bit earlier, so it's on its way up. Gasoline prices gained 3 cents to $2.75. That's gasoline as in the commodity of gasoline, up 3 cents. Gold was up yesterday, $16.91 to $12.91 an ounce. Right now it is at $12.90, so it's down a little bit. Silver, $20.24. I thought silver was going to drop below 20 once again, 20, but it is 20.24 right now. The agriculture commodities all in negative territory with the exception of cattle. So that's where we are on most of the markets. That's where we were yesterday. John Boehner, of course, well, I gotta play some clips from John Boehner yesterday. But let me just say, and if you follow me on Twitter, it's at Financial Issues. I hope you do. Or my Facebook page, Financial Issues. You saw some of the notes or some of the articles that I put out there for you to read. Very interesting stuff. Apparently, there are some conservatives calling for John Boehner's head over the deficit ceiling. I sent out on Twitter this morning, I said yes, but that too would require some backbone. I also have a list of the 22, I think it was 22. Let me look here. I don't know, 28 Republicans that voted for the raising of the debt ceiling. In case you're wondering who that might be, if you want to ask me when you call in, I will tell you. John Boehner, of course, voted for it. Now, let me just frame these clips by saying that John Boehner voted for it. He voted for it. Oh, he doesn't think it's right, apparently, but he voted for it. Oh, he thinks it's something that the Democrats are doing to drive us over the cliff, but he voted for it. He believes the president is driving up the debt and wanting nothing to do with addressing the deficit that obviously Boehner believes is a critical problem for the future of the economy, but he voted for it. I mean, you know, we've got to look at and don't pay any attention. Just there should be a label under every interview. Pay no attention to the words coming out of this politician's mouth. Check their voting record and what they really stand for. Because they say one thing and do another. He doesn't like the idea, but he voted for it. Mm-hmm. There are lots of other Republicans don't like the idea, but they voted for it. We now are going to go another, 13 months. Another 13 months. We've increased the legal limit in which the government can get into debt. We've just raised that. Democrats are happy. A lot of Republicans are happy because there wasn't a battle. Because the voters, I guess all of you are in the same boat here. I'm assuming. Because it is apparent, according to all the pundits out there, that voters do not want conservatives, that nasty Tea Party faction of the Republican Party, to fight. No. Let's not do anything to take our focus off of Obamacare. Keep in mind, Obamacare is imploding. I said, just remember what I said. I wish I had a clip dated this. One of these days, we're going to categorize all the clips. I'd love to have the clip of this because I said it 3 years ago. That by 2016, I never said 2014. I said 2016. Everybody in the land will know someone that has been denied care. I got a call from someone yesterday, if you missed it, whose wife has 3 life-sustaining drugs. She has severe diabetes. She's legally blind. She can no longer get those drugs. They used to cost him $20 a month. They're now going to cost him, in a very tight situation, over $100 a month because Obamacare and the insurance companies now are not paying for those drugs. I said this. I'm going to continue to say it. Don't worry about 2016. because it seems as though, to me, it would be literally impossible for any Democrat who was for this bill or Republican that was for this bill. And by the way, I consider silence for this bill. If you were not standing up against it, you were for it. For Obamacare, I'm talking about. 2016, everyone will know somebody that has died or is dying because they can't get the proper treatment, the quality of health care. And I said it yesterday. I had Twyla Brace on the program, who we're going to try to get here every month because I got a number of emails about the interview and how much they appreciated it. And we're going to try to get her back. And, you know, we've got to talk about, at some point in time, when will we talk about the quality of health care that has suffered? Anyway, that's off the track. I was talking about the deficit, raising the deficit. So we've continued to do that. So rest assured, we get to take on another over $1 trillion worth of debt in the next 13 months. Isn't that interesting that the debt ceiling increase just happens to get past the November elections and then some? Listen to what Boehner said about why they had a vote for this clean bill. It's a clean bill. In other words, no attachments, no anything. I'm going to ask Devin today sometime to find a clip of Nancy Pelosi a couple years ago. I just remember the clip. I'm going to have to try to, Devin, get some input as to when she said it so I can help you out. To find a clip of Nancy Pelosi so that we can play this once a week. And it's a clip of her standing in front of a joint body of Congress saying, in reference to George Bush, that we are not going to raise the debt ceiling with any clean bill, that we are only going to look for dollar cuts in raising the deficit. Devin thinks it was from 2006. Maybe he can find that clip because that's one in the archives, Devin, that we got to play on a regular basis, particularly as the Democrats. Of course, they're not really fighting because the Republicans aren't putting up a fight and asking for anything else. Do you think the Republicans are playing that clip for Congress? Do you think they're even reminding the Democrats that Nancy Pelosi, their fearless leader, once said they would not vote on a clean piece of legislation to raise the debt ceiling without attaching cuts in cost? Here's what Boehner said. Clip 72, Devin. 72.
No, it's the fact that we don't have 218 votes. And when you don't have 218 votes, you have nothing.
We don't have 218 votes. So he thought that if we had an attachment to the bill, that they wouldn't get the 218 votes that they needed to get it through the House of Representatives. That means the attachment they were going to have to the bill, in this case, one of the things they were talking about was extending or putting back the COLA debate. They wouldn't have gotten enough votes. Who knows? He also said this, clip 73.
Understand, it's the president driving up the debt, and the president wanting to do nothing about the debt that's occurring, will not engage in our long-term spending problem, and so let his party give him the debt ceiling increase that he wants.
Yeah, because I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. The president, he has the guts to blame it's the president that wants to drive the debt ceiling. It is the president that wants. How about the weak Republican Party that is allowing it? Doesn't that count for anything? We'll be right back.